Today on Toy Habits Reviews, we are taking a hands-on look at the Masterverse new Eternia battle armor version of the most powerful man in the universe. So thanks for joining us as we put He-Man on the examination table. And before we get into the review, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you can be alerted to the latest reviews, news, and episodes when they drop. Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits, and we are coming at you from our examination room. I'm Michael, and with me is my collector in crime, Larry, and today we're taking a detailed look at the Masters of the Universe Masterverse new Eternia Battle Armor He-Man and doing some head swaps and comparing him to his Classics figure counterpart. So let's start off by looking at the box.
Yeah, once again, I think all these Masterverse figures are looking really cool in package. Like you get a good good view of all the accessories. It's got a good sized window in these packages. Where you can get a good view of the figure and all the accessories. And I think I think they're doing a good job of laying them out. I like the kind of the new Eternia branding and kind of how they're doing all of it. So I
Oh
think it
yeah,
looks.
that part's great. Yeah, and he's chocker block full of accessories, and always what's great about these boxes is always on the side and the back. And I thought they really nailed the art on the side of the box. I really love his windblown look here.
Yeah, he looks cool. I like kind of the look of the kind of the silver against the blue. I think that looks cool, and he looks like King Grayskull.
Yeah,
Just in like with battle armor basically. So I
yeah,
like that part of it.
yeah. That aspect is cool. And on the back of the box, there is a very different looking illustration, and it's just interesting just to see the difference between the back art and the side art.
Yeah, it is. It is odd because like a lot of times these the two different panels kind of are usually a little closer because this has a very different look.
Yeah.
But they've got that little tagline on there or whatever. This is original designs inspired by classic concepts. So maybe they're just trying to get different takes on this character
Yeah.
based on different artwork that we've seen before. So in that way, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that too. And speaking of a different take on the character, if you notice in the cross-cell imagery, He-Man has a darker beard, and I've actually never seen this imagery before until this box, so I'm not sure how this ended up here.
That is so strange, and it makes you wonder, like, is surely that's not an accident. I
No,
mean, you don't. So, I mean, is that going to be a variant that's going to be out there?
that'd be
With the
cool.
dark beard. I mean, because what other reason for there would there be? I mean, we've seen this character or this figure multiple times for several months,
Yeah,
and we've never seen like a weird head sculpt with a dark beard. So just all of a sudden it just pops up here. It's just so strange.
it is strange. And what's actually cool too is you get confirmation on this wave. So,
Mhm.
we got Sunman, Hero, and Jitsu. So let's take a look and crack open Battle Armor He-Man. All right, now we got Battle Armor He-Man out of the box, so let's take this from the top and take a look at the head sculpt, and really, really love the design of the head sculpt here. And I know that people have seen the official images, but I think it does the figure justice when you get it in hand.
Yeah, it really does. I don't know that this looks like He-Man necessarily, but I think it's an awesome head sculpt. I think they've done a great job with the eyes, especially. The eyes really came out good. Some of that kind of like facial structure around the nose
Yeah,
looks really natural. I think that they did a good job on the beard. It's less full than like what we've seen on like King He-Man and stuff like that.
yeah.
I think that the hair looks like they gave it an extra wash, so it's almost like he has like blonde highlights rather than just kind of the blonde that we saw before.
Yeah, it's really interesting too because if you look at it from the back, it actually kind of looks like the vintage He-Man Page Boy cut
Yeah.
that we're used to. So it's kind of interesting. He's got a very different look, and
Mhm.
love the scarring detail that they put on
Yes.
his face here.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because like I actually feel like this is one of my more favorite He-Man head sculpts. I mean I know that like it doesn't necessarily look like that vintage He-Man face that we're used to.
Yeah,
But again, like this is kind of how I felt about King He-Man when he came out. It's a different look. It's almost like a slightly aged. Like this is to me, this is like He-Man in his like early 40s or something, or maybe late 30s, whereas like King He-Man looks like he's like in his 50s or something.
Yeah.
So this is like this, like that like middle age like He-Man, kind of that transition age.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna bring in King He-Man since you brought him up, and yeah, I think it definitely
Yeah.
looks like a good transition piece, and yeah, it's definitely cool. I wasn't sure what I would think about the head sculpt, but now that I got him in hand, really like it. And moving down to the armor, I think they really did a good job with just how the armor is constructed and presented here. I really like what they did here.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I kind of like that they stuck with that like battle armor plate,
Yeah.
where you could swap out for damage and stuff. I think that's a cool concept. I kind of like that they've done it that way. So you have the option of displaying in a few different ways, and yeah, I think it really came out good.
Yeah, it came out great. And actually, the armor is really easy to swap out here. And so it kind of comes apart at the chest. And, this is basically the frame part of the armor. And so if you want to take out the chest plate, it's really easy. And they actually put some detail on the inside of the chest here, which you don't see very often because I can't imagine you displaying it like this with all the holes in it.
No, I mean it is kind of cool though, just to see kind of like that maybe there's some kind of circuitry, right, to
Yeah.
this armor. It's not which is a little weird to me, because it's like I always thought of it as like, it's presented as magical armor, or at
Yeah.
least before. So it's weird to think about it having like any kind of like electrical components or anything to it.
Yeah, very interesting, but definitely a lot easier to put back on than the classics version. So I mean, usually I don't do this on camera, but it's really
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, no, that's cool that it's that easy to swap out. So here's the thing that I was noticing though, like to me, this, because it kind of comes up on the shoulders and has that kind of raised piece.
Uh-huh.
When you take that cover off, to me it looks more like the classics battle armor
Yeah.
He-Man. But since the back piece isn't removable, you can't kind of get that. And so I almost wonder if that would have been kind of a cool way you could kind of get rid of those little like shoulder pieces,
Yeah.
to make him, because I don't know, like he still looks a lot like the vintage and like
Hmm.
classics, but I think I don't know if they had a way to kind of display him without the kind of raised pieces on the shoulder there. You might be able to get even closer, but
Yeah,
just
definitely.
different options.
Yeah. Yeah, the back piece is interesting. To me, it looked like a head of a double-bladed axe. There's also a little port that you can stow his shield, which we'll show you too.
Yeah, it looks cool. It almost looks like a bird too.
Yeah.
It's got a kind of a different design. I'm sure it's just to kind of break it up so it's not just like a silver blank area
Yeah.
there, or it just kind of looks boring or whatever. So
Yeah, yeah. I think they did a good job all around, and of course he comes with this oversized piece of shoulder armor, kind of paying homage to Man at Arms a little bit.
yeah, and I would imagine Man at Arms helped him with this, and yeah, it looks cool. I like it. And I like that it's removable.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's any concern about like that strap piece kind of getting too stretched out, and where it always wants to kind of hang down on his elbow?
Well, yes, I'm struggling with that at the moment. So yeah,
Yeah.
it is a little stretched out, and you kind of got to place it really securely around his bicep, or
Yeah.
it's gonna fall off all the time. But it's pretty fairly easy to take off, and I'll just take it off
Hmm.
right now, and we can show you kind of what it looks like. It's kind of cool. It's got some like scarring or denting in
Hmm.
it, which is neat.
Yeah, that is. I think it's it just gives it a little bit extra character, makes it look more lived in kind of thing,
Yeah.
and I think that's what you need for this figure. You're wanting to see kind of that battle armor, and it needs to be believable that that's something he's actually using.
Yeah, instead of just having an action feature that
Yeah.
takes care of
Yep.
that. Going down to the arm while we're checking it out, it's got a cool port that you can plug the shield in, and it's got just a different look to the bracer.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It looks a little beefier than usual. It sits up a little higher on his forearm, and I think it's cool. I like kind of doing different styles with the shields and stuff. I think my only small complaint here is that if he's not holding the shield, then it looks a little
Yeah,
odd. But I think that it's cool. It's a different option for kind of displaying him. The other thing is you can't swap it out where he's left-handed and putting holding the shield in the right hand the way it is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Um,
this piece is sculpted on and it does not come off. And moving down to the loin armor, big fan of this huge lion belt, almost belt looking buckle type of thing, but it's really cool. You can kind of see it's raised and not just a kind of a flat print.
yeah, no, that looks awesome. I'm really glad that they did that, and I like that it's like a shiny gold because it really makes it pop against the silver. Because the silver kind of I wouldn't say it's boring, but it's kind of plain.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to have that kind of pop of gold against it.
Yeah, interesting. Like, if I was having a armor piece down here, would love it to cover the front and the back, but you
Yep.
know, again, it's the tailor who is making the decisions in Eternia.
Yep. They really go after more after kind of like the style than the actual protection, right?
Yes, yes, form over function, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, but the cool part is you can take it off, and
Mhm.
so you can kind of reveal his loincloth here, but you can just kind of see the armor is kind of given a layered look as if if you were to bend your leg or something, it's kind of make it feel like you can kind of move pretty freely in this.
Yeah, yeah, it has almost the look of like a samurai armor piece.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. And he's given the furry shorts that the new Eternia Viking He-Man came with as well. Oh, sorry, these are not furry shorts. This is a loincloth.
Yeah, and I'm just not a fan of this loincloth. I like the furry shorts better. I think I was good with this for the new Eternia He-Man because I think it's a different look for the character. But I don't know if I want him to stick with this moving forward.
Yeah,
Like I don't think it looks bad necessarily. I just think the furry shorts kind of looks better. A little bit of a miss for me personally.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I guess since they were using the new Eternia Viking He-Man buck, they just
Yep.
stayed with the same. And
Yep.
speaking of which, he has the same dagger that he sticks in his boot. So
Mhm.
it's all one color in this one, and it's got
And
a little.
they're actual boots, right?
Yeah,
They're not like sandals with
no,
like an ankle guard. They're actual boots.
they are actual boots. Yeah, these are the better looking boots of the new
Yep.
Eternia or the Eternia wear.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like these. I like that kind of the furry look at the top, and you've even got like some. I think that kind of that detailing of the wrap that goes right underneath that fur piece at the
Yeah,
top. The kind of, and then you've got like the actual like leather strapping and everything that goes and holds that knife scabbard on there, and I think they look really great. I like the boots that they're doing for these figures.
yes. All right. Well, let's take a look at Battle Armor He-Man's weapons and accessories. All right, so let's take a closer look at his weapons and accessories, and he includes a power sword, axe, shield with vintage art that was on the Dragon Walker, and he comes with removable armor piece, a boot knife, and a battle damaged chest plate. So let's take a look at the power sword first, and I think the cool part of this is it's the more heftier version of the power sword, that came with the Viking He-Man.
Yeah, I like this power sword a lot. It has that kind of filmation look while also looking a little updated. I like that they've it's almost got like a two-tone look to it because sometimes you get that glimmer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really cool look to that sword.
Yeah, definitely has a different color wrap on it to differentiate
Yep.
it from that release. And very happy to see that there is now a wrap on the axe because the other version of He-Man's axe just did not look complete.
No, it didn't. And it definitely looks a lot more finished this way, and I love that they did that. I think that wrap looks really cool on both the sword and the axe,
Yeah,
and I hope that they continue that going forward. Because to me, you can kind of swap out the coloring on that wrap and make it almost a whole new weapon each time.
yeah,
It makes it look more realistic. I mean, it's because it has almost like a worn look to it the way it is right now.
yeah.
So
I like that. It's a battle damage look to go along with his
yeah.
look. Speaking of which, the shield is amazing. Love the art here, and kind of love what they did with the scarring and things like that. It just looks really nice. If you feel it, there's a little bit of an indentation in the scarring here.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't know if it's just like extra. detail because of the camera shot, but it's almost like they've been able to capture like a wood grain look
Hmm.
to the front of the shield, and then have all that kind of battle damage and kind of wear and tear on it. So it's a really cool look.
Yeah, it's that texturing that you're picking
Yeah.
up from the print. But yeah, that it looks. Yeah, I like that. It looks really neat. And it does look like it has a wood grain in it, and it does have some detail on the back, which is cool because you don't see this
I
part.
like what they've done with the shield here. I think it's got its own kind of, like a unique design to it. It's not just the standard He-Man shield, and I think it's cool that they added that, kind of art from the Dragon Walker. So
I do too. And last thing we're going to take a look at, because we're just going to leave the hands alone, is the battle damage piece. And love the thick gashes that are in here. You can really tell that something really chunky just took a huge bite out of this piece.
yeah, man, that had to hurt when that happened, right? I mean, you definitely have some bruising and stuff from that, because that's doing some real damage to the armor there. And does it seem like it holds on there pretty tight?
It does. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, we can take a look at that now since I just have this in hand. We can just check out what the battle armor plating looks like. And yeah, I mean, it's really easy. And yeah, it does fit in there really nice and really snugly,
Hmm.
which is cool. It's very easy to put on. Yeah, it's really tight on here.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, it does look great. Yeah, I'm really excited that they actually fixed kind of this gripe that I had with the classics version because I was so afraid to like take it off and not able to get it back on again.
Yeah, that was a concern with for me for sure with those battle armor figures, and really all the classics figures that had that snap, armor piece, because you always worry that those tabs would break. And this figure, the battle armor figures, both He-Man and Skeletor, I stopped changing the plate out. For a while I would try to swap it out in the display just to get a different look, and I stopped doing that because I was just worried plastic would get brittle over time and snap, and then you can't do anything with it. So
Yeah, yeah. Then your figure is toast.
yep.
But yeah, the cool thing about the shield, is like you were mentioning before, you can plug it into the side, but it looks kind of weird, just kind of on its own, and it's just an interesting way for a shield design for these figures because usually you can just slip them on,
Mhm.
slip them in the back. So it kind of gives his hand some freedom to actually do something with, to hold a sword or to hold an axe.
It's funny because once again we're left like, aesthetically it makes sense, but if you think about like, in reality, this probably wouldn't work at all because I don't see any way you could get any kind of bracer that would hold the weight of his shield and like actually hold it that tight.
Yeah, that's true. That's
But
true.
but I think it is good as far as for the figure, like probably nobody's looking at it this closely as
No,
far as examining how it would really work.
right.
Same with the boots, but
Yeah, I mean this would be interesting series to start. It's like how would this stuff function in real life? Because I think there are some like Star Wars books that kind of detail out like if you actually had this in real life, how would it work? So I think
yeah.
it's actually cool. All right, well let's take a look at some comparisons and do some head swaps. All right, so we've thrown the Masters of the Universe Classics He-Man just as a comparison because with the battle armor Masterverse version, his armor is removable, so you can kind of get him closer to his classics look.
Yeah, I mean, I think he looks a lot like that classics look. He's even got, the painted abs,
Yeah.
kind of aspect of it, which I think, maybe a lot of people didn't like about classics, but I think we're kind of maybe used to that idea now. And actually on this figure, it looks more like just a piece of armor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. I think they've done a good job of kind of capturing that same look while still giving us a different style for him.
Yeah, and it also just goes to show you how more form fitting the Masterverse armor is. And, it definitely looks like He Man has a more bulkier piece on the Classics version, which I still don't mind, but it's just really, really form fitting and kind of makes the figure look a lot more aerodynamic.
The one on the classics, like looking at it, side by side with the Masterverse, the classics one almost has like the look of like scuba diving gear
Yeah,
because it's so low, kind of so chunky looking.
yeah, but yeah, it's cool. The oranges are very similar to each other, and obviously the classics version does not have that knife in the boot. But another comparison to make here. is with the new Eternia Viking He-Man. And so, again, they used the same buck. They swapped out his forearm bracer, but it's actually really interesting to see because you can kind of take a look if you're not into the look of this He-Man with this particular head sculpt very easily. You can swap it on and off and just get a different look for the figure, which is nice.
I'm still not a huge fan of that new Eternia He-Man head. But I think it is a cool way to kind of give this a more standard He-Man look.
Yeah.
Because I think that's closer to like standard He-Man. Can you put the battle armor He-Man on the new Eternia body?
Yeah, I think let's check it out. See, I mean,
Sorry, I hate to put you on the spot
hopefully
there,
these
but
are compatible, which would be, yep, they are. So yeah,
okay.
you can kind of give He-Man a lot of different looks.
Oh, see, yeah, I love that head sculpt, and I actually think it looks really cool on the new Eternia body.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm with you too. Like I'm not like this new Eternia head sculpt is good. It's not great, but it's a better alternative to the Revelation version.
Yeah, yeah, I think the face itself is still a little off, and the hair kind of looks like he got a shower and maybe he didn't use conditioner or something. The hair just kind of looks a little flat.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, the Toy Sorceress was kind enough to send us a head swap that she did with the 40th anniversary He-Man. So we're just kind of digitally add this one in for comparison. But it's definitely it definitely fits, and you can give He-Man the different looks. And I think overall, I think this figure is really really nice, and I'm really hard pressed to find anything wrong with it. As far as a rating for this figure, I would give this a 7 out of 7. Like I I really like this figure. I love the head sculpt, and I think Mattel is raising the bar with what they can do with the new Eternia line. It sets it apart from previous versions, and it looks a lot better in person.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that they're doing a great job on these Masterverse figures, and really pulling off a lot of the details of it. Just giving us so many different kind of display options with stuff like the removable waist piece there. I think for me it'd be a 6.5. I think the only little gripes I have are once again I'm not a big fan of the wrap. I like the furry underwear look better.
Yeah.
And I think maybe he could have, maybe a little extra detailing on the belt itself, like underneath, if that extra armor piece isn't there on the waist.
Yeah.
Um, like the classics figure had like some extra paint apps on those circle parts of the belt.
Yeah. That's
So I think little stuff like that might have been cool. Maybe a little different color for like the fur on the top of the boots. So those are only the little, maybe some small detractions. So I think it'd be a 6.5 for me.
yeah.
I think it's a great figure.
Yeah, definitely high marks, which is
Yeah.
unusual for us. And that wraps up our review of the Masterverse New Eternia Battle Armor He-Man. So let us know what you think of the figure in the comments below. I'm Michael.
And I'm Larry.
And thanks for joining us in the Toy Habits Examination Room.